Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where I think it's about time we had a bit of an upgrade. So I think we can all agree that this looks a lot better than what it did before, but now it's time to talk about 16-year-old left-footed Shea Lacey, the next big thing coming out of Carrington. So let's talk about why everyone at Manchester United is so excited about this talent. Now what you would have noticed there is that I labelled him as 16 years old and also left-footed, but what I didn't actually do is give him a position. And the main reason I didn't want to fix him to one position is because for me, he's one of those talents, you know that talent I'm talking about, one of those talents where you almost let them have a bit of creative freedom, you let them kind of roam into different positions, get the ball a lot. That's the sort of player I would describe Lacey as. Now if we were to fix him more to one position, it would probably be as a right winger or perhaps a creative midfielder, an advanced creative midfielder behind a striker in that sort of area. That's the sort of player we're getting with Shea Lacey here. Now in terms of his strengths, what is he good at? This is a technical footballer, very, very technical. And I think probably the biggest compliment that I can give him is the first time that I was showed clips a while ago now of him training, I actually thought it was clips of Phil Foden. Like, genuinely, not exaggerated. I actually thought I was watching Phil Foden until I paid a closer attention and saw that it was actually Shea Lacey. That's the sort of talent we're getting here. Very, very technically gifted, very good ball control, loves to draw players in, low centre of gravity, turn, twist, get into dangerous positions, which is why I think so far we have seen him in wide positions quite a lot in the United Academy, because he's very good at drawing players in, protecting the ball sometimes, you know, receiving the ball into feet, kind of holding off a defender, playing the ball backwards. We've seen him doing that. But also he's very good at getting on the turn and dribbling at his man. Again, it's those quick feet, low centre of gravity, make him really difficult to deal with. His changes of direction, pretty frightening. Certainly not something which I could personally deal with as a defender, but he's very, very good in these areas, particularly in transition, and that is something we have to remember in youth football. With youth football, you don't see so much a team having 65% possession against a low block. It's a bit more end-to-end, it's a bit more frantic, a bit more fast-paced at times. So a lot of what we're seeing with Lacey is in space. Of course, that's something you have to consider. He's also incredibly young. There's a lot of room to develop here. But I really like the technical profile we're getting here. What I also like, and something we've seen this season more so than last season, is his ability to drop into more like these positions, almost more central areas, and be creative from a deeper central position. Creativity from this area, again, almost a bit Phil Foden-like, is very good. Very, very good. It's a very important weapon to have. But we've seen him doing it for England already this season in the under-17 side, but also the Manchester United side as well, kind of cutting into these positions on his left foot in deep areas, and then waiting some of the nicest through balls you're going to see. There was one against Galatasaray, their youth team, the other week. The weight of pass, the care of pass is so good, and he's got this brilliant understanding of the sort of pass which his teammates want to receive. Sometimes you can complete a pass, but it's not actually a great pass because it's difficult to control or difficult to reach or whatever. Shea Lacey has this habit of putting the ball on his teammate's strong foot, which is important. He has that good understanding, but also intelligence, but then the actual ability to play the pass as well. So that's something I've really enjoyed about his game. But mainly so far, what his skill set has been, it's been more in wide areas. It's about dribbling, it's about getting at players. He's pretty quick. He's not absolutely, insanely rapid, but for this sort of aesthetically pleasing type, he's one of the quicker ones at this age group. He's very good in these areas, again, very quick. And what I also like about his game and what we're seeing him develop so far this season is his ability to go the other way a bit more. Now, still very left-footed. He likes to come inside a lot into these sort of positions and work from there. But we have seen an improvement on his weak foot. And that's improving, obviously, his dribbling. It's made him a better dribbler because he's more unpredictable. He gets into these positions, and before, he always wanted to cut inside. Whereas now, he can go down the outside and get to the byline. I mean, we saw a ridiculously nice goal from the byline where he kind of scoops it over the goalkeeper from the most ridiculous angle. It's a beautiful goal. But he is still capable of coming inside onto his left foot from where he might kind of chip a ball over the defence. He might kind of slide this pass in behind, or even his long-range shooting is pretty good. He strikes the ball quite nicely. He likes this kind of curled attempt in towards the far post, or this low drive in at the near post. Again, it's good that he's got this variation to his game. I feel like last season he was a bit more predictable. The opening months of this season, we've seen a player which can do different things, go different ways, and ask different questions, really. Of course, on top of this, if we're going to compare him to someone like Phil Foden, we're going to talk about his short-range passing as well, that ability to, firstly, beat his man, glide inside, but then can he link up with his teammates? Yes. He's playing a couple of age groups above what his age should be, and truthfully, he looks like the best player on the pitch. He looks like the one who... He's got that bit of stardust about him. You get this feeling with certain players when they get on the ball, even at a young age, they get on the ball, and it just feels like when they get it, it's different to when anyone else gets it. That's what Lacey has to his game. This... I don't want to say aura, because he's far too young to talk about him in that way, in a sense of his personality and things. But it just feels like something's going to happen. He's got those twinkle toes, that little bit of stardust. And his link play in these areas is really good. He can come inside into this sort of position. You might see a couple of passes played, but once he's played that initial pass, he doesn't just admire his work. He's happy to release the ball, then he'll move into this sort of position here, and then from here he might shoot at goal, or he might thread a ball for his other winger. He really is someone who wants to get on the ball and make things happen, and that's why, again, I don't want to really fix him to one position yet in his career, because he's doing so many different things. I also like, in terms of development and growth as a player, that one, he's trying to grow and improve. That's a really good thing for a young player to have, that desire to learn. But in particular, this kind of crashing into the box a little bit as well. When the ball's down the other side, rather than staying out in space in this sort of position, maybe waiting to do something else. This season, we're seeing a bit more of him kind of attacking his back post, scoring a couple of tap-ins, and I think tap-ins are one of the best goals in football, because it means your movement's been really good to get into that position, that good attacking instinct. Again, that is something which he's starting to show in his game. Of course, this isn't the perfect player. He's 16 years old. It's crazy, but there's a lot here. There's a lot of potential here, and it's why everyone at Carrington, everyone at Manchester United is so excited, because the potential is absolutely off the charts. He seems to have a good mentality as well. He's one of those players who's got that little bit of grit about him. I've seen a couple of games where, it looks like he might maybe cross the line and have a scrap with someone at some point, which I wouldn't recommend because he's not the biggest guy in the world. But, he does have that bit of grit to his game, which I think players need in a sense. Of course, that has to be nurtured right, but I think that is needed. He's also got the work rate defensively. He will apply pressure to the ball. He will track back. He's not very good defensively yet, but he's going to work hard. He's going to put pressure on the ball. And again, that's the important thing, that he's got the right mentality early on. He can improve his defensive skill, his defensive ability, but the fact that he's happy to cover the yards and help his teammates is really good to see. So I think there is so much to like here. Now, in terms of development, what does he need to get better at? The main things would be bulking up a little bit, kind of in the next 4 years, probably, growing into his frame a little bit so he can protect the ball a bit better at senior level. Developing his right foot even further to make him even more unpredictable, and then just that defensive side of the game. But apart from that, on the ball, there is such a good technical package here. Now, I don't want to talk about this for ages or show you loads of clips or anything like that, because this is a young kid we're talking about, so I don't want to go too much into it. But there's a reason everyone at Old Trafford is so excited, and that is because technically this is such a good young player who has the world at his feet. It's now about, temperament, hard work, a lot of luck with injuries. You really do need that to make it at the top level. You need a lot of luck in your career. But again, the right mentality, working hard, but also working on his education at the same time. These are all important things for him. If he does these things, I think he can be such a good footballer because his profile is so nice. As I've said already, I love his dribbling. His technical ability is absolutely brilliant. His creativity in the final third, creating chances for others. Crossing, of course, being a big part of that. His finishing, he has added goals to his game, but also his set pieces, something we haven't even covered yet. This is a player who creates chances in almost every type of game state, really. In terms of areas to improve, physicality would be the big one, but also working on his right foot even further. But again, as I've said a few times, this is an incredibly young player with his whole future ahead of him. If he gets it right, if he gets the right people around him, again, has that bit of luck, this could be a really exciting talent. I definitely recommend that you watch the United Academy more. There's some great talents kicking about in there. Let me know if you want me to talk about any more of them, because it's quite refreshing to watch. It's quite refreshing to kind of scout and see these players developing. It's also really satisfying when they then make it into the first team as well, if you're watching them from quite early. So let me know if there's any other players you'd like me to check out. Shea Lacey's been a privilege to watch. The whole Youth Academy has so far. They're doing brilliantly. So I think that's where I'm going to leave today's video. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. Get in the comments down below, as always, and let me know what you think. But apart from that, I'll see you in the next one.